بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So Mufti Mahmoud Ashraf Usmani rahmatullahi alayhi, he's mentioning a story about his father. So he's a grandson of Mufti Shafi Sahab rahmatullahi alayhi, Mufti Taqi Sahab's nephew. So his grandfather Mufti Shafi Sahab and his father's Zaki Kaifi, he was a poet and really good at Urdu. So he used to live in not in Karachi, but I think he used to live in Lahore, I think. And there he used to have a bookshop. And because of his father, Mufti Shafi Sahab, he was well known. So many poets used to come and just, he was known in that area. So his father used to say that sometimes many of these, obviously he's a poet, so people of same flock, they stick together. What's the point? What's the proverb? Birds of a feather flock together, they stay together. So it goes that sometimes many of these poets would come to visit him. Now when you look at them, apparently they didn't have any apparent, from obviously our closing our judgment of our taqwa. But sometimes the alama, okay, if a person wears this, then he's seen that he has an inclination towards religion. It's not dalil that he's pious, but it shows that he has inclination towards this. And the wada' and the qata' of the sulaha is also very useful. It helps a person, it preserves a person's, when you have this, you have kind of consciousness that, I need to behave in a certain way. So anyways, some of these poets, you couldn't tell from the zahir that they were too inclined towards religion. But he would say sometimes, when we mention the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in front of them, the way they would take Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's name, the poems they would write about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the way that you could see that they have love for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So his father used to say that from this, and sometimes they would even cry, like tears would come out of their eyes, just mentioning Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So his father says from this that many times people's iman is hidden in their hearts. You don't know what the love you have inside. So that's why there's a hadith as well, that none of you can be a believer. None of you can be a believer until you love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam more than everything else in the world. Now, a very common question that people, it's common, it's in the book, so it's written, but for some people it's not things that, I don't see that, I think I love my parents more than I love Rasulullah. I think I love my children more than I love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So you have to understand the different types of love. One is, they call it hub tabi'i and hub aqli. So hub aqli is intellectually, that no, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam more beloved to me, and you have that in your mind. And natural love comes because of interaction. So you interact with your children more, your spouse more, your parents more. So you feel that you have a natural more inclination towards them. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because we're not always in his company, you're not sitting with him, you're not seeing him, so it's kind of away back of our mind. So the one answer to this is that once you have hub aqli for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how do you know hub aqli? That you're mentally or intellectually love Rasulullah more. There's a clash. When there's a clash, who do you obey then? That's a deciding factor. If there's a clash between your children and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you would obey Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why, for example, that if children they say something or they leave, say, well, you know what, my religion comes first. It's more important than you. I can't tolerate this. And if you love your children more, then you say, it doesn't matter if whatever he does, even if he says something, bad thing about Rasulullah sallallahu, I don't mind. That means that you have no iman. So really, when the time of clash comes, who do we follow? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or our parents, our spouse, our children, our friends? And that's the deciding factor. That's one answer. And along with this, we have a tam'i love for Rasulullah. Sometimes we're not aware of this. It's like when you have the barbecue, when it's all finished, you have it seems that the fire is out. But if you shake it a bit, you see, oh, there's a bit of spark inside. Because of sins, of our desires, the dunya we live in, our barbecue is all finished. But the fire is inside, it's a bit of shaking sometimes. Then you can say, all right, it's still lit underneath. And once, to prove this, Mawlana Shaykh Thani rahmatullah alayhi, somebody asked the same question. So a person Hajjat Thani rahmatullah alayhi was speaking about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his seerah, his life, his akhlaq, his character, some stories about Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So during the Grand Prophet said, let's stop now. Let me tell me about your father. So he goes, why are you stopping the talk about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to ask me about my father? Why do you carry on? So he said, look, even you have more tab'ila for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because you're more interested in your father and in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam seerah than your father's seerah. So even though naturally you have this love for Rasulullah, but you don't realize it. And sometimes when something happens, you have that comes out. Yes. Nobody would yearn to go and say, oh, I'm yearning so long to go and see my father's grave. But I believe myself, I want to go Medina Munawwara. I want to see Medina. How many people say, well, my father grew up in this village, I want to go and see this village. It's not that important to us, isn't it? So my father used to play cricket here, okay? It's interesting, send me a picture of that place if you're there. But I want to go to Ghar Hira. I want to see where the Ghar Thawr is, how it is. It was like, even if it's a Hijrat route, if you can see the Hijrat route with the Prophet, even if the Prophet stopped here in Hijrah, it's like, wow, I want to know that place. The Prophet performed Salah in this masjid. I want to go here. This is very important to us, which means really inside, we have more love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam than we even know. But because of circumstances, all covered up. So number one is, we should never underestimate anybody else's religious position. We don't know what they have inside of their hearts. Yes, we're responsible for the zahir. So if somebody is doing something wrong, this is munkar. If you have authority, you stop it. If you don't have authority, you do good nasiha. If you don't have any authority at all, you just, from your heart, you say, there's nothing bad, make dua for that person. But in reality, we don't know who is close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how close is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only on the day of Qiyamah, we will know what they have inside of their hearts. So never judge a person, and it's always possible. That's what you should always think, even if you are someone in authority, you're sitting here in the musalla, you're giving nasiha, you're giving from the mimbar, you're a teacher, you're somebody, you're giving da'wah. You should never have this that, I am better than this person. So you have to, based on your position, you have to do amar bil ma'ruf nahy anil munkar and nahy anil munkar. But you never think that I am better. And to understand this is basically like, because you don't know what that person's position is. So maybe he might have 99 bad things, but one good thing. That one good thing is so good in the eyes of Allah is maqbool. You may have 99 good things and one bad thing, but that one thing in the eyes of Allah is very disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even if you are doing amr bil ma'ruf, nahy anil munkar, you're advising good, never think, oh, I am better than these people. So, no, I have been given responsibility, Allah has bestowed upon me, so I have to do this. But who knows whose position? Nobody knows who's better than the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, so we should always keep humble about ourselves and always keep husnul dhan about other people. That in Allah, in the eyes of Allah, we don't know what their position is. And remember, to have a bad thought about someone, you need daleel, you need evidence. And for good thought, you don't need any evidence. You say, oh, inshallah, he's a good person in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us ability to act upon this. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.